So tonight, remember, is a more focused practice leaning towards flexibility. And there's actually four main categories of flexibility work. People generally tend to say a lot of subgroups in those four categories, but two of the main categories are active, right? So we want to make sure just once in a while we're learning and trying more active stretching where there's a little bit more kind of muscular work. I try to keep it easy, but you think of postures like triangle and just more like moving based stretching. So we're going to start a little bit active flexibility tonight, active stretching, and then we're going to go more into that passive. So we'll always do some of that in this class. All right. All right, guys. So let's start standing up tonight. And before we start stretching, I tend to always recommend, let's get some blood flowing, right? So let's start with the mindfulness practice. So coming to a nice position where your feet are parallel, you're starting to feel your feet. What we do in the beginning of yoga, close our eyes, intentionally set up in a position, laying, seated, standing. And we take a few moments to tune into the body, feel the sensations, connect to the breath, set an intention, remember our objective. You're starting to already communicate with your body in a way where, right? So this is the process of yoga. You're communicating to the body. Okay, our intention is to get flexible at night. There's no mixed messages between the consciousness, the body. So you're taking a few moments, your eyes are closed, you're standing tall. We're arriving into practice, shifting our attention inward, setting an intention. So if you're just joining, we're just going to do a nice short 5-minute warm-up. Think just movement to get blood flowing, a little bit more active stretching to start, and then that nice kind of passive holding stretches, nice long, good 20, 30 minutes of that in the end. All right? So let's start to breathe. Nice big inhale on your nose. Fill up the lungs deep. And then big exhale deeper than normal. Try to inhale and expand the lungs, the abdomen, the middle ribs, side ribs, chest, upper back. Maybe even hold the breath, and then big exhale, trying to really empty the lungs much more than you normally do. So think of already stretching something, the lungs, the rib cage, the spine. Okay, the breath, the lungs are like a muscle, right? They're all muscular, it's all stretching when you breathe. And don't forget, you are stretching muscles on the bottom of that exhale a little bit different too. So learn to exhale deeper. In yoga, we practice holding the breath down there as well. So this first movement is just excellent, gets so much done. It's just a type of squatting with a big arm circle. So think of just bending your knees, nice tall spine though. You're gonna reach down, forward and up, inhale, arms back, and look at the big arm circle. So this is like really classic yoga, by the way. First time I learned this actually when I was in India. This older Indian monk was teaching yoga, and he said he just started class like this. Okay, you're exhaling, inhaling. So if there's an exercise where you're really power breathing, I don't teach a lot of that aggressive breathing. Even though that type of breathing can be good for us, we want to, in the beginning of class, have a breath where you're really stimulating energy, activation, heat, moving air in and out. It's almost like you're like exercising, right? It's like a yeah, okay. And remember, that's done in the Kundalini yoga too, which is Tantra. You end up doing that for a good 12 plus minutes. And boy, you will feel so much energy, heat, and sweat. So we're gonna do a little short variation, okay? So that's taking care of like bending knees, ankles, and hips, and arms, shoulders. Now we wanna get into like straighten that torso, bend the knees. So remember, this is just our warm-up movements. Okay, remember, keep it yoga by tuning into your body, heighten self-awareness, be very present with your breath and your body. In the beginning, yoga is very subjective, like how much can we feel? This is your hour to connect to the body, okay? And then eventually we shift that from when it becomes we're really good at feeling, we almost have to detach observe better. The observation practice usually considered more of that intermediate advanced level of awareness within the practice, okay? So you're doing your nice twist here, okay? Now the next thing is to circumduct our hips. The biggest joint, biggest muscles in the body. Quite simple, starting with pelvic tilt, widen my feet, feet parallel. And you notice we do stuff like this in triangle pose, called a lateral tilt. Okay, notice my head isn't really moving just yet. Just really getting those hips moving, okay? And then what we do, you can see I'm starting side to side only, but then I start to go back, left, forward, right. And look at how I just kind of circle from the hips. My head is kind of moving. Looks kind of like this, okay? Seems simple, but it's really a fantastic warm up. And you can get your chest involved, but just to be clear, we haven't done forward bending yet. So this might be a lot already, okay? But you can kind of move your hips in opposition of your head, okay? Last few. And if there's another warm-up kind of calling to you, that's fine. All of these are going to create more flexibility. It's going to get blood flow deeper to the joints where normal body patterns aren't. So even though you think this isn't like stretching, it is going to make the body, it's going to free up anything that's blocked and stuck and, you know, energize, get blood to places. Okay, so here we go now, side to side. So think underarm, ribs, side body here, and even the outer hip and IT band. Right foot across, right arm up. But I do want to think movement. Don't worry, we're going to stretch like this. Right hand down, right foot back. Call this neutral. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. This is literally a yoga pose called crescent moon here. Okay, we're just kind of moving side to side in it instead of holding. As I go to the side, guys, make sure, see how this side compresses, my left side as my right arm's up, just still a little bit of active lift. Compression is good when we're using it for certain, you know, effects and intentions, but unconscious compression, like say gravity, we get lazy in our posture, you know, you get bulging disc. Bulging disc is #1 cause like sciatica and, you know, other things like back pain, and we want to teach our body to lengthen through all these exercises. So let's keep going with our active warm-up. Take a moment if you need. Now we go hinge into more free movement. So feet parallel, hips width distance, knees bend, good posture, hands on hips, shoulders roll down and back. Weight into the toes. Look at my spine, it stays long. I want to hinge forward from my hips. Anterior tilt, so my tailbone goes up and back till I feel tension. I gotta pull that belly. Exhale back up, a little squeeze of the butt and the thighs. Remember, it's warm up, turning things on. Inhale, hinge. Exhale, squeeze your butt. Inhale, hinge. Exhale, squeeze your butt. Sometimes you know this exercise, Romanian deadlift. Also at the gym, they have a little thing that you lean over. The pads are on your thighs. Your heel locks under the pads, and you hinge forward, then you come back up, okay? Really good for the back line. If you have a tight lower back, weak glutes, and you need to, you know, make the hamstrings more mobile. Now, I want you to take this same exercise into this. Next time you're up, big inhale, reach up, okay? Exhale, we're gonna forward fold. So think of a sun salutation, but just like the up and down part, okay? Inhale, reach up. Exhale, reach for your toes, okay? So moving, stretching. Now yogis, if it's too much, watch me here. You can always just kind of keep your hands on your hips and go like this. We want to try to get like 20, maybe 30 or 40 of these up downs, right? So if you want a lot, watch me here. You could inhale here, and then exhale here, bend those knees, arms up and over. So it's dynamic movement, okay? Exhale. Inhale. And you just got like, you know, 10 more. If you get dizzy, you take a knee, err on the side of caution, you know, everything is kind of optional. You're just having it fun with your body here, getting into it. right, yogis, so that leads us right into our first forward bend stretch. With the lateral spine, but we add the rotation. So what we're kind of doing is building on top of that. So take your time, all right? You're gonna stand up. I'm gonna keep moving. I see most of you is kind of happy to stop there. I'm gonna go forward, okay? Feet parallel wide. Have your blocks in front of you if you need. So let's take that big inhale, lift the chest, and that's forward fold. Now let's take 3-4 breaths before we start. We're kind of pressing our big toes down, starting in straddle this evening, pulling on the floor a little bit. And now we have to go back to the breath work, because we started by moving lungs, inner body. We got into the joints, the muscles, more superficial muscular body. Now let's go back into our meditative concentration, our breath, pranayama. A deep, slow inhale in your nose and a deep, slow exhale. Remember, initially in class, power breathing, especially if you're feeling kind of maybe low on energy or need more stimulation, but a lot of us are good at aggressive breathing. You know, we're good at our cardio workouts and we're good, strong breathers in yoga. At that point, we want to become more skillful, not waste energy in the breath, not stress our nervous system out via the breath. Okay, let's inhale half lift. Now listen, guys, right from here, a little bit tougher practice here to start this evening. So notice how my feet are nice and parallel. My hips are stacked kind of over my heels. Just to show you, my feet are wide. So I'm here. Now, nice and simple, I just want to bring my hands together. I can bend my knees as much as I need to keep my spine long. I'm going to inhale my right arm up and open. So think like almost side plank. My right arm is stacked atop my left, right hand down. We're still in movement practice, guys. Inhale, left arm up. I'm taking the block with me here. Exhale in. Inhale, right arm up and open. Okay, so now I really need you to feel your core, because we're taking your spinal joints and we're nice and rotating them repetitively here. We're also doing what's called reciprocal inhibition. So as the arms spread like this, it is opening what's called the pec major. It's the big upper front chest that kind of squeezes like this. Okay, so that motion, when you activate your back, when you reach up and open, that's going to create release through the upper front body. Okay, last few again, you know, we're trying to get 6, maybe 15 reps if you're feeling good. And just base it off how you're doing tonight. And then, you know, this is 3 mobility drills in 3 positions. So save energy, both hands down. Now I'm on my blocks and it's light. See that? Right and left. Now you could just do it like this. See how I bring my hands on my thighs? Okay, I'll let you decide. Some people might even want to go a little deeper, hands on the floor. So you can see here now, my heels are staying down. My buttocks is right over top my right heel, and then I'm going here. But granted, you don't have to do that. You can stay here, or you can bring it up a little higher. You can press down on the thigh a little bit. Last few, guys. Yeah, say be creative, you know, that's so key. All right, so we're going to continue with active stretching. We got a handful of things to do standing, and before we know it, we're going to be doing some nice ground-based mobility, and then the final part of class is the nice meditative stretch holds. All right, so we're going to stand up. First, fast twitch. Well, first one might have been fast twitch. You might want your block here, because what I'm going to do, now this isn't easy. This is classic Hatha yoga, okay? The left foot goes on top of the block. You know, you want your heel on the block, right? Depends on the size of your feet, but if I had to pick, I'd have my toes hanging off as opposed to my heels, all right? And look what I'm gonna do. Literally, it's called the leg swing. I want you to see if you can let your leg kind of get heavy, almost hang, you know, decompress your joint a little, and you know, you start by letting that leg swing. Now be careful, right? You're on a block and you don't wanna fall there. All right, so you can do it with it on the floor. And you just really, see, let it get going. Leg back, leg forward. Move that leg without any weight. Like, swing it out. You know, we would go into the Dharma in New York City where I was practicing yoga in the early 2010, 11. go into these master classes in New York City, and you kind of like start right into this. These big leg swings, like get that joint moving, okay? Second side, please. Now remember, there are the 3 types of leg swings, the main 3 types. We're just gonna do the forward and back. It's kind of difficult to do the other 2 in this type. So look at that leg swing. Let it loose, okay? It's difficult, good. You know, that's a little balance in there, a little challenge. Many different other benefits just to the kind of flexibility aspect. If it's difficult, you're doing it right, okay? So we did some arm circles. Let's go up to our arms, okay? I'm gonna keep moving forward. Let's just keep going here. Arms go wide. Remember, this is the spiral of the arm. So our goal is to rotate from the shoulder and the hand, the thumb, not just one, okay? So remember, it's opposite, right palm up to face behind me. Left palm does the opposite, down, face behind me, okay? And then you hold for a second, breathe, and then you twist. The opposite direction you change. And then once you know it, you're kind of at your own pace. You go slow, take time to feel it all right? In a sense, kind of study the conditions of the joints, the body. So as I laterally rotate and supinate, it's called, the opposite arm immediately rotates and pronates. 2 opposite actions. So switch, take a breath or 2, switch. About, 6, 12 per side, something like that. A lot of times I see people, they're not stretching their arms and or their hips really in their rotational patterns, hips more so than shoulders, but that can really be a game changer to avoid injury, to get extra torque, like strength. Anytime we're like doing a sport where we're rotating from the shoulder girdle and the scapular, man, it can really change your game and keep this really free. You don't want muscle resistance in the rotation, right? So it's gonna help in every athletics and yoga. All right, nice job there, guys. Let's shake that out. All right, so here we're gonna go static holds. We're gonna widen our feet, and I'm gonna just put my blocks here because if you're gonna use blocks, we're gonna do triangle. Okay, so triangle starts by widening your feet, and I'd say about 3 foot distance. An advanced practitioner, you're gonna go close to like 4 feet apart. Remember, it's active stretching, so we want to remember to activate our core on our legs here. My right toes turn to the right, my left toes turn to the right. So let me show you so my blocks aren't blocking here. So my right hip turns out, my left hip turns in. My feet, I'm stepping my right foot back, okay? I would maybe want that right block now by the big toe. Now, watch me here, the right hip goes down, okay? If you'd like, you can widen your arms, reach out over the leg, and then let's hinge and find my block. All right, yogis, so I want to try, I start with the knee more bent, okay? If it's really difficult, I put one block on the other, all right? Or I can even bend the knee, kind of keep the hand here, or the elbow here. All right, so if you're here, you're kind of engaging your legs. Notice I'm driving my bottom hip forward and my right side body long, all right? Rocks my shoulder here, and then I twist my chest up to the sky. But remember, the first cue is engage your legs and press your feet down toward each other. If you want a little more stretch, top arm up and over. Okay, if you're a little bit more, seasoned in this pose, a little lower setting, hand on floor. Okay, I'm twisting my chest to the sky, squeezing my pelvic floor, engaging my legs. So let's go for another 20 seconds. It's a really big stretch. It's your deep lower back muscle. Use blocks, guys, all right? If you don't have blocks, make sure you get them. All right, so take your time. We're not gonna hold that too long. All right, little bend in the right knee. We're gonna stand up. And if you need a little shakeout, we're all about release tonight. So you throw in a little bit of this, what I call true release. Remember yesterday morning, we started class like this. 1 minute, 1 minute and a half. We're just doing that with Qigong. Throw that in there, okay? Left foot out, right toes turn left. Second side, I'm adjusting my foot. I'm finding that sweet spot. Find that sweet spot. Okay, there it is. Left hip down, big lateral tilt. Left arm out, hinge. Left hand finds the block. It's right inside that left foot. I'm lengthening my spine, engaging my legs, driving my left hip forward, twisting my chest to the sky. If you're pretty good at it, just watch for the back arch and you're going to pull those ribs in a little bit. Okay? Deep breathing. Top arm can reach forward. What tends to happen here, yogis, is sometimes our upper body's like forward in space. You want to, like I said, the bottom hip goes forward and your upper body kind of leans back over the front leg. So if you needed that quick visual, okay, last demo here, sometimes we're like this. So see how you're looking at me from, this angle of the pose. And what happens is we're like this. So watch this alignment. I put the hand closer to the foot and I bring my bottom hip forward and my upper body back. So you see how everything's more aligned from my upper body being forward. I lean the upper body back over the front leg. Okay, last breath or two there. Some of you guys are already done. That's cool. All right, some of you guys were right in. You know the pose. You don't have to wait for me, okay? All right, guys, so you're going to finish up that. I'd like you to just stand up for a moment. Shake it out a little bit. So I know this, the standing stuff can be pretty back heavy and lateral. As soon as we go down, we're going to hit that hip flexor right through abs and chest, right? So 2 more standing things here. Pyramid into our revolved triangle. So you're going to turn the face forward and back on your mat. You might want your blocks out in front of you now. All right, so you're going to take a little bit shorter stance. Let's step our right foot forward. So, still about 3 feet, but we don't want to get too close. See how my feet are too close together? I want more forward and back length here. My back toes are angled forward, but still open. Okay, right hip turns back. See how my right hand turns it back. Since it's just flex class, we'll keep it easy here. Hands on the hips, big inhale. Remember, my feet are about hips width distance. I start with my right knee bent. With practice, leg is locked, engaged straight. Locked, okay? Hinge forward. The only people who want to watch out for the locking is hyperextension knee people. Engage your knees. You got a lot of problems in the knee, bend the knee a little. Hands find your blocks. Right hip back. Look at the right thumb inside the hip crease. Hip rolls out, pushes back. Chest goes forward, forward fold over the leg. Watch the front foot. I flex it. Deep breathing, guys. So just so we're clear, this is like all of the hamstring stretching of class. We're going to be done. We're going to do right into revolve, and then hamstrings are done. Just so we're clear, this is our time with our hamstrings. You're not really going to see it again. All right, we're not going to do straddle today or, much else. So get your hamstrings in now. So listen, let's inhale, half lift. I'm going to do them together. I need those blocks. See that? If you don't have blocks, cans of pain will work, kettlebells, foam rollers. Let's pull the right hip back. Now I want to twist my chest to the right. My right arm goes out. Okay. Now I'm pretty high up. Eventually, you have the left hand inside the right foot on the lower block or the floor. Engaging my legs, pressing big toes down. Right arm out and up. Pulling my right hip back, lengthening my spine. Revolve triangle, same side. Looks good, Jesse and Alan. Nice, Leslie, Michael. Try to relax your shoulders. Yep, Stella looks good, Dawn. Pamela, got you guys. Okay, big inhale. Let's not torture ourselves. Just a nice hold, how you're feeling tonight. Bend the right knee. You can take the blocks with you if you want. Just stand up. We're just going to basically turn to the side if you need to shake it out. And we're going to do the second side, 2 parts. All right? So right hip back. Inhale. You can put your blocks around your foot. Right hand, left hand on the hip. Separate your feet about hips width distance. Find the sweet spot. Lift your chest. Start to hinge. Remember the hinge we did earlier. Now we build on it. Asymmetrical legs. Hands on blocks. Left hip back. Lengthen chest. Forward fold. Maybe flex your left foot. Your ankle. And you breathe very deep, yogis. So I'll let you kind of decide. I was trying to give you a little bit longer here than the triangle revolve, a little more difficult there. Whenever you feel like moving into the next posture, sole that left foot down, inhale, get more length. Your right hand goes a little bit more inside, like closer to that left foot. And I push down through my right hand, I twist from my core to the left. So if my left leg is forward, that's the direction I twist. And then the left arm goes out and back. Try to relax in it, yogis. You know, where are you over tensing? Remember, heightened self-awareness. Where am I straining, overstraining? Where am I wasting energy? Where am I tensing that's not serving me? Or where am I being lazy? It's not serving me too. It's like the opposite end of the coin. Where can I activate more to create support, more kind of complex use of the muscles, or where am I kind of overstraining certain muscles? Relax there a little bit, okay? That's the name of the game in asana, right? As soon as we can understand that, the whole body work more, we're gonna get a lot stronger in these poses, okay? Both hands down, bend that knee, let's stand up. And you know, after that, you can kind of just take a little neutralizer. Good job with your bent over postures. The last like active thing you could do standing. Right after this, it's pretty much on the ground the rest of the practice here. So we're gonna bend the knees. If you'd like to try it, it's the last hip hinge. This is how we stretch the hamstrings. Hinging. Left heel forward, hinge. Posture. Right heel forward, foot flex, left knee bends, right leg straight, hinge. Back up, okay? Hinge, left foot forward, foot flexed, posture, squeeze butt, hip thrust, right hip, shin forward, hinge. So that's that last hamstring stretch if you want it. And that's the peak there. It's a type of split stretch. And I think we need to get in the back bends and now our underarms, okay? So what do you think? Anjaneyasana, maybe Pedigasana, into down dog, or a lifted down dog if you're gonna go that route. Okay, let's stand up, yogis. Think yogi squat, widen your feet, shake your legs out. Inhale, reach your arms high. Let's take it down to the ground. So we're moving a little bit more into static stretching, you can see. But still a couple more in the active form. All right, so you're in yogi squat, pushing your knees open with the elbows. But remember, yogis, you push your knees back into your elbows, squeeze pelvic floor, lift chest. Don't forget you can sit on a block or kind of roll a blanket up, put it under your heels. Okay, now big inhale. Kind of moving through a posture or two, down dog. First time getting into those calves a little bit extra. Remember, it's nice to kind of pedal your feet out. As I lift my right heel, I press my inner left heel down. I'm really into the big toe, the right foot, and then I kind of alternate. So I stretch the big toe, my left foot as the left heel lifts. I push the inner right heel down. I shake my neck, a little yes and no. Start to decompress the neck a little bit. We'll get a couple neck stretches in here. Nice twist one. Okay, so down dog, don't forget, it's gonna be really nice for stretching the underarms. We're working on straightening the elbow here. That's a nice release of the bicep and front forearm. All right, so what we're gonna do is called Pedigasana. First big hip flexor release and front ab underarm stretch. So when you're ready, let's step our right foot forward. You're gonna get more down dog, so you know, take your time. So we're gonna step our right foot forward, hands go in blocks for most of us. Watch my back leg. I tuck my back toes, I lift the knee up, pull it back, I reach the toe back, pull the knee back. Eventually, top of the foot down, hands slide closer towards hips. Hips descend toward front heel, feet press down, chest lifts up. If I want more, arms reach up. Press your feet down, squeeze your pelvic floor. Remember the active stretching I mentioned, okay? Deep breathing. So now we're like more glute, hip flexor. Now, there might be a few of you who want to go really crazy with your flexibility. I want to, Remind you, you don't have to do this. This isn't for everyone. I lift my chest. I keep my right hand on my block or my thigh or to the sky. My left knee bends. My left arm reaches back. Just to be clear, this really increases the chance of spinal compression, injury in general. You know, basically variety increases chance of injury, right? So, but variety is very necessary. But in general, consistency is going to be safer and basically trump the variety. Maybe you can do that, but maybe tonight's not a good night, right? So make a wise choice here of what's good for you. And if you're getting more advanced in the practice, what happens is I start with my heel under my knee more, see that front one? And then eventually what I do is actually close that gap. So my heel, as you can see in the more advanced variation, now my knee is bent closed and my right heel is almost touching my hamstring. So I'm really shifting weight to the front of this ankle more. That is a lot easier said than done. I couldn't even do this for years as a yoga instructor. Just a lot of practice though, okay? You see the difference there, all right? Next part is the down dog. You can just put your hands on blocks if you like, tuck toes. It might feel good to kind of shake your leg out. It's kind of like vinyasa yoga, where you go to down dog and you open up your hip. It's a really nice type of hip flexor release also. Remember, everything has spiral, transverse lines. So as I bring that right leg up and I kind of open it, you're gonna feel this nice kind of pull away from the center pelvis out in front of the hip. So if you're just coming in, we did a good amount of poses already, so we're kind of in the thick of it. All right, so second side, left foot forward. The name of this posture in yoga is called Anjayana, very classic, okay? Back knee down, crawl right foot back, front knee over front heel, top of back foot down piece today, okay? Press the feet toward the heel, lift the chest. Remember, try to bring the top of your right shin down, because your hips always still want to open, okay? Right hip, left hip back. Couple breaths here. If you're feeling good and you want to go arms up, if you're feeling magnificent, you want to reach your right arm back, okay? If you're like a really seasoned yoga practitioner and you want to bring it into here, you can even combine them, okay? Let's take this one now. I want you to breathe in it. Yeah, so if you're just joining, we did a ton of standing stuff. These people have been working hard at it in class. Get a little warmed up, right? You can do cat-cows, you can do a couple push-ups or squats. Get that blood flowing before you're taking some of these really big postures, okay? Now, please take your time, right? Something that's got right into your second side. I need you to base it off what your body's telling you. Don't leave as soon as it gets difficult. Take a few breaths where it's difficult, then slowly exit, okay? Eventually, hands could be on blocks, lower setting, left leg up and back. Just kind of open the hip here. Shake it out a little bit. You're new to that posture, it can be quite achy. Tight muscles don't like to be stretched, right? They like to put up a fight, and they'll fire their pain receptors. So you gotta say, no, I'm the boss here. Yeah, I'm not gonna listen to the whiny muscle, right? All right, so let's keep going. Now, I got 2 extension pattern stretches. So I'm not gonna do Cobra today. I'm gonna do the camel. Camel is considered a beginner stretch. Remember, it is on the knees, so it's more closed chain. We're gonna do this, and then we're gonna do our lat release today. I wanna focus on this. It's been a couple weeks, okay? So here we go. We're gonna rise up. I'm not gonna show with blocks yet. If you know how to use blocks outside your feet, you can. So this with the Anjaneyasana together. Hands on your hips, fingers face up. Roll the shoulders down. I do want you to try to think shoulder stretch here too. So fingers face up, there's wrist, hand stretch. Shoulders roll up, back, and down. There's chest. The elbows are rolling back together. See that? Watch out for this. Arching my back. This is what I see a lot in yoga classes. I want the pubic bone to go down and forward, and the chest to lift up and back. Okay? So here, as opposed to here. Lift the heart up. If you're comfortable here, open your mouth, release your jaw slowly, let your head drop back on a swivel. That's tough, but it is what we do here eventually. All right, now big inhale here. We're not gonna hold this too long. Come back up, we got another round. Just take a moment, you guys, sit on your heels, take a breather. If you'd like to work our ankle stretch, our quad shin stretch, as you're sitting on your heels, big toes touch, knees wide, lean back a little. Another nice little option here is either to notice I'm lifting my knees. Big top of the foot, shin ankle stretch. If there's anywhere to compress in the body, it's your ankles and feet. IT bands in the running, hips are in the running, but I'll tell you, any place that bears weight, is compression area where you need that deep squeeze of where muscles meeting bone and layers of fascia that are getting all dense, okay? So another option, go a little further, right? All right, guys, so we're gonna do our camel again. Shake your feet out a little bit, right? I know you might need that. So we're gonna rise up, fingers face up on the butt, roll the shoulders back and down. Notice I said the butt, it's not really the lower back. You need your hands lower. We don't want to push into the arch of our back, all right? You want to traction downward with the hands. Lift heart, chest up. Okay, notice my knees have to widen a little bit, especially in the flex class. With practice, the blocks would be outside the ankle area. I land my hands carefully there. I lift upward. I create space in the navel, so I'm reducing spinal compression. I'm stretching muscles long. I'm not just compressing joints. When you start yoga, that's like a torture pose, right? If you want to get information out of people, you put them in camel pose, right? It's just like everything. You're redesigning your body. It's hard to do because it's tight there, all right? We're getting some more elastin in there, collagen 3, you know that science, I've talked about it, and you're gonna get those results. Just keep it up, all right? Let's keep going here, guys. Last part here, sit on the buttocks, tuck your toes, sit back on the heels. This is the big one. Big toes touch, heels try to touch, okay? And you sit back. I am literally sitting weight on the feet, all right? If you have a little extra and you can, do this here, sit up tall, just bring your right ear to your right shoulder. Deep breath into the upper left, collarbone, shoulder, rib cage. Learn to direct your breath into certain isolated parts of the body, okay? Center, relax a little bit, left ear, left shoulder. So how this class is gonna go, guys, is we're going to do shoulders now. Chest, back shoulder, compression style. I'm sorry, we do have the underarm first. That leads us in the shoulder, and then we're gonna do a hip stretch or two of your call, your choice, okay? So let's keep working here. We're gonna get off of those feet and shake it out. Let me give two options because the full posture here tends to be very difficult for most of us. So the full posture is called Anahata in yoga. It is a crazy underarm stretch. It looks like this. You keep your hips over your knees. Your forehead starts on the ground. But what I want to actually do here is bring my nose, my chin. Now notice my palms are forward. Look how the underarms keep lengthening toward the floor. Eventually it's the chin or even my chest. This is a very extreme stretch. If you have a lot of trouble with that, a nice option is just this, okay? To get the stretch, you might have to press your palms down engage my arms and push down. So I'm getting that stretch in the underarm. If that still doesn't feel much, you could try it on blocks. Here I am. Notice my hips are over my heels. My palms are lifted, and I drop the head toward the floor. Still, I'm pretty flexible. I don't feel it that much. But a nice way to do it here, guys, is child pose with your arms on the blocks. So last option, all quite similar. I got about 6-inch space between my blocks on their middle height. Reach my arms, get my elbows on the block, and I let my head drop between. All 3 of those we'll do what I'm attempting to do in class, okay? I want those arms going back, up and back, okay? Try to breathe, okay? Try to relax a little bit. We've done this, I believe, once in the flexibility class, one of the other classes where we got quite active. There's not many, there's a really good way to do this. It's hard for me to demo, but you can just put your hands on a wall, okay? So when you're down there, guys, let's sit up. Let's shake that out a little bit. Maybe roll the scapulae, shake your arms out. A nice way to do this, I don't know if you can see, but I put my hands up on the wall and I kind of drape my chest between, like you can see on the table here. You just kind of go like this too. Not everyone has that, so I couldn't do that, but you just kind of go like that, palms down, I'm dropping my chest. It's really fantastic to open up here. Anytime this is tight, it's gonna make the shoulder feel very restricted, hurt even, right? Frozen shoulder there. All right, guys, so we're gonna make our way down to the chest, and we're gonna do a stretch for your shoulders. It's the acromion deltoids, the outer arm. Now, if you can't do what we're about to do, I know a lot of us have trouble with this one as well. The right arm can just go across the body, and we can just do this simple isolated stretch. My right arm goes across, I grip. But if you want the full compression variation, we're gonna lay on our chest. Classic yin yoga, by the way, here. We're gonna come up onto the forearms like a sphinx. Now, basically what I'm gonna do is double thread the needle with my arms and just lay down on my arms. I'm gonna reach my right armpit forward, reach my left arm underneath my right armpit. Notice my left palm is faced up. Now, beginner, you can just lay down here and roll your right chest down towards your left elbow. But the full variation, my right arm crosses also above my left arm. My left palm's up. I'll show you in another angle in a moment. And I scooch a little forward, palms face up, and I literally just lay on the arms. Okay, so I'm just laying all my weight down on my arms. If you're having trouble understanding, my left arm went underneath my right armpit, so I'm laying down on my arms like this. Notice my palms will be facing up. They're not under my neck though, they're more under my chest. It is very difficult, yogis and females, right above the breast, if you can find that upper space right here. It's a tough one. If you can't do it, no problem. You're just upright like this, okay? This is really one I don't teach a lot of. It tends to be very uncomfortable. And granted, our arms are usually in front of us too much. So I tend to do this one a lot more, maybe 10, 20 times more actually, because of our patterns in our life. All right, now take your time. Let's come up out of that, shake it out. If you're seating, standing, and you're just doing the arm across, try to get a good minute in there, breathing. As I pull my left arm across, I kind of pull my left shoulder back in space. And if you're doing Sphinx, first it's right arm under, then left arm up top. I inch a little forward, and I'm laying on my arms like this. All right, weird yoga pose, I know. All right. And you got to kind of play with it, If you're new to it, you just flop into any old space. Yeah, it's probably going to hurt, but then maybe adjust a little bit, and it gets a little bit more comfortable. Oh, and then you adjust again, and you're kind of peeling away layers of awareness, like how can my body be positioned, to stretch this muscle here, and to feel it in the back of the shoulder. Can I let go a little bit more? It's a tough one to relax into, all right? Just try, don't judge it, just do what you can. All right, so what I'm gonna do after that is we're gonna do a nice neck stretch. Sometimes I do a passive. We wanna do once in a while the assisted neck stretch, especially when we're nice and warmed up. So nice job there. I'll keep moving forward. Won't make you hold that too long since it's pretty challenging. So listen, let's meet on the chest. Maybe you wanna give it a little bit of this. On Sunday morning or Saturday, the gentle yoga, we did the whole self-massage class. It was really nice. Went through the body with blocks on the floor. We really got that whole body done. Really nice class. We'll bring that back around. So throwing that in there, a little massage. Okay, neck stretch. Eventually, legs release. Big toes touch, heels fall apart. Arms down by side, palms face up. Left cheekbone, ear on the mat. That is the posture. We are focusing on your neck. Reach your hands further toward your feet, but then just relax everything even more, okay? Notice if your chin is tucking toward your shoulder, lift the chin up away from the shoulder. A long neck here, please, and then relax. Remember that ear, cheek. Now don't change anything except just turn your head to the opposite side. Literally, right cheekbone, ear down. Relax into it. Don't avoid the tight side, please. One more time through. First ear down. This is a really nice way to stretch the neck. But again, it's good to be warmed up for this, good to breathe. I forgot to mention, if it's really tight, you can prop a hand under that shoulder just to give a little less pressure on your neck. But it's just simple as laying on your chest, letting that floor kind of push your head into a rotational pattern, okay? And then you'll do the second side of the second set. Final part here, please. All right, yogis. So you're going to finish that. You're going to kind of press back the child pose. And what I had planned was 3 more parts. Basically, a hip stretch. I'll do like 2 options, 3 options. Maybe a spinal twist, a laying or seated, deepest twist, and then one last kind of option maybe for your back or your spine, whatever you're feeling. So after child pose, you're going to hold that as long as you'd like. You're just kind of moving through at your pace. A hip stretch. I'll give one for the outer, one for the inner. You've really done both. So whatever kind of calling to you. Usually a crowd favorite, the pigeon, right shin forward. Oh, fantastic. You do any jogging and cycling, anything where you put a lot of contraction in the legs, even just walking for far distance. So much RT stabilization. So boom, this is fantastic. Walk the left foot back. Maybe sit up and get that psoas, press that right foot down, and then hinge forward. Just taking that nice stretch. Okay, that's one option. Another nice option here, yogis, is the inner thigh. So even though triangles inner thighs, it's not really medial. It's not like adductor magnus. Frog posture, okay? Should be a crowd favorite. Not done as much as pigeon though, but almost like the opposite, kind of. So that knees go wide, all right, and then I drop down to the forearms. That inner shin and foot is down, all right, so here, okay. If you want to do something a little bit more simple, you can do a little butterfly stretch. It is really nice. So there's 3 options. How about we, pick a stretch that I know you love. We did some different stuff tonight. Pick a stretch. I'll let you know when you're halfway, another 30 seconds here. Don't forget things like double pigeon and Gomukhasana are nice here, or even just figure 4 laying on your back are gentler, more gentle variations of pigeon. Okay, and then maybe you start thinking about switching sides here. Some of you is doing a double-sided posture. Others doing the frog. Just stick with it. Shake that leg out a little bit. A couple breaths here into your stretch. Okay, and then you're just gonna, time it out yourself. So I'm thinking here in the end of class, one last kind of spinal twist. Spinal twist is also like a waist stretch and lower back stretch, and it also is even like upper back. Spinal twist really gets so much done. They often are considered the most complex stretches, tough on the body, and biggest releases. If you want to come up, say you want to do a little wrist. So we're kind of in the end. You got like a couple minutes left. So, what's crawling to you? You could turn your fingers to face your knees if you're using your hands, stretch out those wrists, or even flip the palm face up, fingers face the knees, get the back of the wrist and forearm. And really, you can just do a couple seconds on each side. It's still going to be nice, okay? Another nice option here in the end, guys, what's calling to you? I want you to practice intuitive awareness. Like, there's nothing better than the other. It just depends on what does your body need and apply that. So one nice option, laying on your back, right? No back yoga tonight. Bring that knee across the body. Okay, stretch it out here across the chest. You get one more round of the chest opening. The lower back here. Okay, deepest twist in class for most of us there. Say you're feeling like you want to do restorative bridge. That's cool too. Put your legs up in the air, like a restorative yoga pose. All right. If you want to go crazy, you want to do a headstand or something like that, that's fine too. So a nice spinal twist, a wrist stretch. You get one more kind of opportunity here before we just kind of maybe reach for our toes, round our spine a little bit, or take a plow or happy baby, all right? So you got one big stretch, and then it's the final neutralizer, symmetrical stretch. I like to give freedom, yogis. All right, a lot of direction from me, instruction, but then I got to get out of your way and let you just listen to your body. Give you a little suggestions. What might be missing, but then it can be something from your own routine. That's fine. Okay, and make sure you're going to the other side if you haven't yet. And to close that practice, like I said, it's like a neutralizer. It's more symmetrical. I'm thinking we haven't really rounded our spine. We didn't do cat-cow in flexibility class. That's kind of odd. So here you can apply something like that. Granted, we already did the cow variation, but we didn't do like a hyper cat. Maybe some of you's got it in your forward bends unintentionally. But if you want, you could try something like this where I'm doing a happy baby. Another nice option might just be sitting up tall. Remember, in the flex class, yes, we do hinge from the hips, but we actually sometimes will let the head hang heavy which will round our spine, okay? And you're really gonna feel the back light up. From the neck all the way down to your sacrum, coccyx. I stretch forward, but then the head gets heavy and rounds the spine. It's a really overlooked stretch that I really love, unique. The big weight-bearing variation is the plow, where I bring my hands down, hips lift, hands on my lower back, my feet toward the floor, okay? So last kind of forward bend, calm your nervous system. Let's just do a couple minutes closing meditation after that. Yeah, I got 4 minutes left in class. So one last minute, nice 3-minute Shavasana or seated meditation. All right, yogis, so let's set up for the final position. If you're comfortable seating, just get comfortable, shake out your shoulders a little bit. You can sit on a block or a cushion up against the wall. If you're laying, just get comfortable, close your eyes, kind of shake it out. And just some food for thought here as we enter. We're in that flexibility and tension. You know, in yoga, we're mind over matter. We're huge with that. And mind over matter, right? The bodies matter. So our mind, our thoughts, how do they reflect the identity of the musculofacial body? And really the idea is just kind of making room for awareness of flexibility. Make room for flexibility in your mind. You know, these sayings that come out of our mouth, these locking ourselves into this identity, I'm not flexible, or I'm too tight. You know, these thought processes associated with identifying that you're a tight body. You know, in yoga, you say you want to get flexible, you got to give that up, right? And almost start to speak in the way that you desire. So the yogis might say a mantra, if you're saying stuff, even you're kind of calling it into existence, right? So just some food for thought there, a little deeper in the yoga world. All right, you know, you think to yourself, you say, I'm flexible, you know, or at least I'm gonna be flexible, or but you know, not I'm tight, or you know, I'm not that negative approach towards it. All right. So a nice big inhale here, please. Big exhale. Final pose. Got about 3 minutes. So yogis, if you have a little extra time, please take an extended Shavasana on your own. The longer you can, the better. All right. So really nice job, guys. Take your time coming up off of your back. Little subtle movements. Remember, I like to suggest face muscle movements. You know, wrists, ankles, wiggle your ears, your eyebrows type things, lips. So yeah, when you're done there, make your way up and just remember that stretching like this can also make you sore. It is an intense experience on the body. So apply a little kind of healing work tomorrow, and don't forget that. Practice that. You start saying stuff, identifying when you're tight. Try to remind yourself not to say those things, because I say it myself. I say I'm too flexible now. I can disengage the muscles where I drop in a joint. It's not good. So I also identify with my inefficiency there on the other side. All right. So I really appreciate you all, and thank you guys for your donations. Really been helping me out a lot during these times. And namaste, yogis. Thank you guys for showing up.